fine. I'll clip that. Well, hello, everybody. I am really excited that everybody is here today. I'm looking forward to showing you the opportunity with Andesite Blue. Andesite Blue is a United Kingdom company that offers passive income to our bondholders. And we do that by making investments into the emerging market of Ukraine. This is something that is a very good opportunity, and we're going to go through why Ukraine is such a great opportunity now, even though on the surface a lot of people wouldn't understand that. But we're going to step through how the program works and how this can be something that you can invest into purchasing a bond and then receive passive income, and then also do something that is worthwhile in terms of helping to fund the reconstruction of Ukraine and other worthy projects. So our bonds are set up where we have the ability to pay significantly more than UK gilts. We pay more than premium bonds, more than UK gilts. We pay very good rates, hundreds of basis points over what you can find in gilts. We offer a 7.15% rate on a 3-year bond, and the interest on that is actually paid biannually. And then we also offer an even higher rate, an 8.85%, and that is on a 5-year bond. So lots of opportunities there. And here's President Zelensky. He had a message that he actually delivered, and this is something that really talks about all the changes in Ukraine, about how Ukraine was invaded, and about how ordinary men and women, they joined the defense forces to defend their freedom. He also talks about how this sort of situation is something that's inspiring, where there's a lot of people that are freedom fighters that are doing everything they can to bring freedom. And he also mentioned something that's important. He talks about lawyers who do not yet see the upcoming victory in war, but are already working to ensure that war criminals are brought to justice. This is the Nuremberg trial story with many other just verdicts. That this is going to happen, and he's talking about the future. It's something that is very inspiring indeed. So we offer high income corporate bonds. These are reconstruction bonds. They pay between 7.15% to 8.85% interest. Now, I want to point something out on that. It's important to disclose this. This is not as safe as a UK gilt. It does not have a zero default risk. There is capital at risk. The bonds are only available to institutional and accredited high net worth investors. We're not selling to retail investors. Let's go through our team. We have Nigel Brigden. He is the chairman of the board. Nigel's a highly experienced banker. He has an in-depth understanding of banking, and over a career that's lasted over 40 years, he has excellent contacts throughout the city of London. I want to draw your attention again to, you are purchasing the bonds of a United Kingdom company. So you're actually purchasing the bonds of a United Kingdom company that then lends the money into projects that have gone through significant due diligence checks. So this is something that Nigel Brigden, he's a banking expert witness specializing in domestic and international payments. He knows a lot, and he adds so much value to our team. Then we have Christina Katrakis. She's our international investment coordinator. And if you've ever been to Kiev, Ukraine, there is a very famous statue that she was the model for. She was actually the model for the statue in Ukraine. She's a highly qualified and experienced international business and political coordinator. Her career really crosses a lot of paths: art, philanthropy, politics. she has coordinated a number of multi-million-dollar projects worldwide, and she's bringing those contacts and that experience to Andesite Blue so that we can do the best job for our bondholders. We also have Tanya Kiltika. She's our corporate secretary. She founded a United Kingdom company focused on recruitment for abroad, for work opportunity for Ukrainians in the UK and Ireland. She also has been involved in the online platform for Ukrainian events in European countries based in London. She's a Ukrainian citizen, but she's also a United Kingdom citizen now. She's married to a United Kingdom businessman, and she brings a lot of talent to the team. And then we have Mr. Steve Dyball. He is our senior operations manager. He brings a lifetime of experience working in emerging markets. He has 4 decades of experience, including working as a chemist, all the way up to regional operation manager. He brings that real world experience with management of operations. We have Mike Wilson. He's a founder. He's an American citizen, also a very experienced in business. He has years of experience building businesses that benefit clients and stakeholders. His current level of leadership comes from working at every level of employment. He began his career in sales and business. He gained a broad background working at companies like AT&T, which really refined his abilities. And then there's myself, Benjamin Z. Miller. I'm co-founder. And my background, I have for years done real estate. I've been involved in a lot of different business deals over the years, and also private business acquisitions in the US and Europe. I've also founded several startup companies. So I bring all that experience to the team. We have Vasyl Milnik. Vasyl Milnik is Ukrainian. He also has had a very high and important post in the government of Ukraine. He was a director in the Ministry of Finance for the government of Ukraine. He was actually elected from the Vitaly Klitschko bloc. His professional experience and knowledge of political processes in Ukraine is extensive and invaluable. We have Anatoly Landman. He is a businessman that has decades of experience in Ukraine. He actually was responsible for the metro in Kiev, the internet, the high-speed internet in the metro. That was a project that he was involved with. So I want to just point out a note that again, we have this notice that we need to show that this is something that is only directed at certified high net worth investors, sophisticated investors. Okay, let's talk about emerging market bonds. Why are they so important and so often overlooked by investors? Well, the emerging market bonds, this is an interesting comparison here. We see US dollar emerging market bonds and local currency emerging market bonds, the average monthly returns. It's pretty clear that emerging market bonds are winning that one. So now let's talk about the advantages and key features of the Andesite Blue Bond if you decide to start investing in some of these bonds. The first is that you can reach your passive income goals more quickly. We offer an annual investment program that allows you to reach the passive income levels you desire. You can reach out to me or any of our team members, and we can speak with you more in detail about your specific situation. Another advantage, a real benefit of the bonds, is the fact that we offer maximum diversification. Andesite Blue, we fund a variety of industries, including healthcare, housing, agricultural, and green energy in the emerging market of Ukraine. We also have no fees. We don't charge our investors any fees. And then another great advantage is we offer interest payment flexibility. So you can actually choose to receive your payments quarterly, annually, or upon maturity. It is your choice. So how does the bond work? Well, it's a very simple process. You purchase the bonds of Andesite Blue, and then Andesite Blue uses the proceeds to invest in Ukraine with projects that have been reviewed, fully reviewed. We have an extensive due diligence process, and our local Ukrainian management company collects rent and oversees management of the loan portfolio for us. So again, we've got a message here from President Zelensky. I'm not going to go through all of it, but Ukraine really is a new technological center of the world, and it's a breadbasket of Europe, the most fertile lands, and a huge tourist and investment potential. Ukraine has so many advantages. And then we have a note from Prime Minister of Ukraine, Denis Shmyhal, and he just talks about the opportunities that are really there for Ukraine. Logistics is a huge advantage that exists in Ukraine. You've got international transport corridors crossing Ukraine from Helsinki, Gdansk, Poland, Berlin, all over. Access to key global business hubs. It's all here in Ukraine. Some of the other key facts are that Ukraine has a gross domestic product that's over 150 billion. Of course, the war had some impact on that, but it is going to come roaring back. Another nice thing is when you purchase a bond, you are funding investments in multiple industries. So medical clinics and dental. We're going to be helping to try to rebuild some of those medical clinics and dental clinics. Real estate, we're going to be making investments in real estate, particularly those things with new construction for people that need housing, also reconstruction, all sorts of opportunities, and then of course agriculture. So by making that one investment, you are able to make a difference in the lives of many different people in Ukraine. But let's talk about the money. Let's talk about the money for a minute and kind of compare it on a business standpoint, because this is not a charity, although we are going to do many good things for Ukraine. How will the interest be calculated? Well, let's imagine that you purchase a 100,000-pound bond. You start out with something like that. Maybe you get on an annual investment program. We're going to do 100,000 pounds a year, just as an example. First bond you purchase is 36 months, and then you can select whether you want quarterly, annual, or a term payment, also called a bullet payment. And then with that, you put in 100,000. At the end of the term, you get 121,450. You get all your principal back plus interest. Now, let's imagine that you wanted to buy a 60-month bond, and I highly recommend that, because with the high rates that we're offering, it's a good way to lock in that high rate of interest. And with this, you've got quarterly payments of 7.70% on an annual basis, but paid out quarterly. And then you invest 100,000, you get back 138,500 over the course of 60 months. And the interest is calculated on the principal amount invested. Only the bullet option is the one that is compounded continuously. And that really is the one that, if you're not in a situation where you need the money, that is a great one to really magnify your returns. So let's go through some of the questions. Why should one invest in the bond? Well, the directors believe that an investment in the bond is really suited to investors that are seeking an above average return on their investment. If you just want average, just go buy a gilt. I mean, if you just want average, get a gilt. But if you're looking for above average return and you want something that can actually do something, that's good. Another thing is, if you want an investment that is asset based, we are an asset-based lender. So when we make loans to companies, to projects in Ukraine, we are looking every time for a margin of safety. We want to see ideally that the borrower has a large down payment and that the loan to value is very good. How long-term is the bond? 36 to 60 months, but we make it convenient for you where after you purchase the bond, if we'll let you know when your bond is maturing. And then if you're happy with everything and you want to continue, we just make it where it automatically renews on an annual basis, You don't have to do anything. You just let us know, hey, let's just keep going annually. And that way it keeps the money working for you if you haven't found another place that you want to put it into. Great question that we often get is, can I put the bond into my SIP, the self-invested personal pensions? That is actually subject to the approval by the SIP provider. However, the great news about that is the most SIP providers, if you have a situation where you have difficulty finding one that can work with this sort of a bond, just let us know. We may be able to make a recommendation, but should be something that is possible, but you still need to check with your SIP provider, of course. Another question that we sometimes get is, what type of an investment is this? Well, you are actually purchasing United Kingdom. I want to stress that you're investing in United Kingdom fixed interest corporate bonds. And then we make loans into the emerging market of Ukraine. So who can invest? Well, everyone is eligible that is over the age of 18, a trust, a company, all of the requirements. Can I invest through a company and are joint applications permitted? Well, yes, they are. Joint applications are absolutely permitted. We can accommodate that. Sometimes people will ask about the tax. How's the tax managed? We do not withhold tax. We pay you all the money. We don't withhold tax. We pay you all the money. And then what you do with that after you receive the money is something that you can work out with your accountant, because everybody has a slightly different situation. And this is a way that it's just easier because everybody has a different marginal tax rate, and it's better just to pay you all the money. And that's our policy. We just pay our bondholders all the money. Are there any limits on how much I can invest? This is sometimes a question. Our suggested minimum investment is £100,000. Now, if somebody comes in and they, for some reason, are in a situation where they want to make an investment, but maybe they want to do a little bit less than that, sure, we can try to work with them, assuming that they can qualify as an accredited or sophisticated investor. However, we suggest go in with £100,000 so it actually can produce more income for you. There's no upper limit, and institutional investors with larger capital amounts are eligible to apply. And I want to make a comment on that. There are over 75 billion, and now with the war that has come in, there's an enormous need for investment. We are talking upwards of 600 billion, 700 billion in investments that are needed for Ukraine. And this is something where, while it is a tremendous tragedy what has happened, and it is so sad to see this, if we stay on the positive and we're able to get capital flowing into Ukraine, where good projects can be funded, where apartment buildings can be reconstructed, all of this helps. So there's no upper limit, and institutional investors are there absolutely eligible to apply. Another question that people come up with is they ask, can I get access to my money early? And the answer to that is no. And the reason is, once we take your investment, we put it to work. We put it to work on doing something with maybe reconstruction of an apartment building. Maybe we put it to work on a medical clinic, whatever it is that it has gone into. These are illiquid. These are illiquid investments. So you must be absolutely certain that you'll not require your money until the end of the term. It's not possible to access your capital before the end of the investment term. So how will I receive my interest? The interest will be paid to the bank account that you nominate. So you just let us know what bank account, and then we will make an electronic transfer to that bank account. So you can specify what bank account you like. Let's talk about the opportunities. Let's talk about something positive. Before the full-scale Russia's military aggression, Ukraine's GDP was estimated in 2022 as 3.4%. For 22, there was a contraction, of course, because there's been a war. There was about a 33% drop in GDP. tremendous destruction of infrastructure and exodus of people. As of August 1st, the total amount of damage to Ukraine's economy was and infrastructure reached 113.5 billion. But the damages here, we're looking at a chart at the damages caused by Russian military aggression. We see, look at that, 75 billion in housing damage, 35 billion in transportation damage, 20 billion in industry, tremendous damage. There were also different sectors that were affected. One of the sectors that was affected was metallurgy. But this all created new opportunities. Manufacturing output structure in regions where was occupied by the Russian Federation, there was a movement there. But the reconstruction of Ukraine, which is what Andesite Blue is really focused on, it opens vast investment opportunities for building materials, producers, logistics. As an example, Ukraine is going to require millions of square meters of residential apartments construction. So besides all of the international partners that are ready to support Ukrainian cities, there's actually been a very interesting twinning reconstruction initiative. This was proposed by President Zelensky, and the United Kingdom, where I know some of you are from, is twinned with Kiev. Sweden got Mykolaiv, Estonia, Zhytomyr, and this is twinning investment programs, and it's when private investors from a certain country aim to finance specific projects in damaged cities with the support of their governments through peer-to-peer schemes. So lots of support from international partners. The United States has been coming forward with a large amount of money. The EU has as well. So has the IMF, Germany, Canada, the United Kingdom. Everybody's been trying to help on this. So the reasons to invest in Ukraine. Let's really talk about the reasons to invest in Ukraine. There's still a lot of advantages, folks, in terms of it makes an attractive investment destination. The financial system in Ukraine, it has demonstrated such resilience and readiness for this type of a challenge, and it's done amazingly well. The reasons to invest in Ukraine, there's so many. First of all, the country has such an educated workforce, skilled and competitive workforce. All the different universities. This is a chart here that shows the different universities in Ukraine. They are putting out a lot of bright people that are doing great. There's so much potential for development with industry, with electronics. Other reasons to invest in Ukraine is actually right now developing a comprehensive recovery plan. This is a post-war reconstruction of Ukraine, and it'll be one of the largest projects since the well-known Marshall Plan after World War II. So this is the perfect time to invest. The IT sector in Ukraine it was top-notch before the war, and it's going to come back even stronger after the war. With all the money that's flowing in now to rebuild Ukraine. Ukrainian Startup Fund, that is something that is so fantastic. They've got accelerator funds, developing R&D ecosystem, wonderful. And then on this chart here, there's another thing that's really nice is when you invest correctly into Ukraine, you can get exemption from import and duty of new equipment. All sorts of advantages there exist. There's also the DIA city regime. And boy, let me tell you about this. This is actually an incentive that was offered to the IT industry. And if somebody goes in and opens a new company, they have to qualify by hiring 9 or more employees. They have to pay a salary of a minimum of 1,200 euros. that they can receive all sorts of tax advantages, and that's a great program. There's incentives for aircraft manufacturing, and that's going to come back really strong after the war fully ends. It's something where you look at a lot of the international companies that are operating in Ukraine. There's so many of them. I'm sure if you look at this, you recognize a lot of these companies. Another thing is Ukraine really matters. You know, where you decide to invest, it makes a big difference in the world. And Ukraine is a country that right now needs some help. It needs some reconstruction funds. It needs some help. And this is something where, yes, you're able to make money. Yes, we can pay you a great rate of return, but you're actually doing something that matters. You are helping a country that has had a difficult time, and rebuilding Ukraine is what we are about. Let me show you folks a few potential investment projects. Now, these are some, but not all of the investment projects we have in the pipeline. We are always constantly analyzing what is a good investment for Andesite Blue, to be able to place the money and do something that offers maximum good and also is able to satisfy the due diligence. We have an extensive due diligence process on our acquisition. So the production of dairy products, that is something that we are looking at. There's a project right now that requires 7.6 million, and it's got a 5-year payback. And that's an exciting project. And then we have the production of agricultural drones. This is a project that's 2.5 million, only an 8-month payback. I mean, 8-month payback. Can you believe that? That's amazing. Construction of a logistics center in Kiev. This is a larger project. It's about 34 million. And with this, it involves the construction of logistics centers in Kiev, large amount of space, about 70,000 square meters. There's going to be warehouses, offices, all sorts of things, and really great numbers. And then another interesting project is self-driving vehicles and innovative technologies. That's one that only has a 2-year payback, and they're looking for $1 million. Here's one that's a big project, 118 million, construction of a modern bricks factory. That is something that this bricks factory is going to have a capacity of 120,000 bricks per year. But let me explain that it's actually produced in the form of porous blocks of 10,800 pieces. So it's a huge number of bricks. And that's 36 months, 6.9-year payback. We've got so many projects that are here. And this is something that you can look at all of the projects, and you'll have the satisfaction of knowing when you invest with Andesite Blue, you are investing to fund worthy projects to help rebuild Ukraine, to make life better. And we're also going to pay hundreds of basis points more than those gilts or those premium bonds. And I want to thank you all for taking the time for the presentation. And now I'll just actually open it up for any questions.